All right, all right. Thank you so much, Sadatavia from the Caribbean. Thanks so much for joining us today. All right, thank you so much. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is our success thought number 110. Wow. We had a great time yesterday with our Wisdom Wednesday with Dr. Dr. J.C. Myers joined us, and every Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, join us. And over this next year, we're going to be sharing some thoughts with many of you. So stay tuned. And I'd love to have you reach out to me, Herbert at herbertharris.com, just so I can put you in our loop to keep you abreast of all the things we're doing. Let's say knowledge born. Thank you for joining us today. As you know, our topics are taken from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And as you prepare for the new year, there's one thing I'll say to you. You must have a recipe for success. You know, if you want to make a cake and you've never made one before, you haven't made a great one, then get a recipe book that shows you how to do it, how to make a great cake. So the 12 Universal Laws of Success can be your recipe book for success, how you create the success of your life. How do you create the life you want to live? Today's topic, we're going to talk a little about expanding your imagination. Yesterday with Dr. J, we talked about your purpose, finding your purpose. And a part of finding your purpose was to be able to see yourself in a much larger picture, a larger version of yourself. So often, the vision we have of ourselves is really based on our shortcomings, our failures, our disappointments. And so we let the past, one of my good friends, Les Brown, said, many people live their fears instead of living their dreams. And so if our past failures, if the things that have really disappointed us in the past keep coming up time and time again, it can undermine your future. Ace, thank you for joining us. So think about this. When you drive a car, you have two devices to see. You have your windshield, which is a wide glass so that you can see everything in front of you. And then you have your rear view mirror so that you can see where you've been. And there's a reason that the rear view mirror is much smaller than the windshield, because it's more to see. It's more important things to see with respect to where you're going than where you've been. Blessings to you, Ace. So today we're going to talk about imagination. One of the tools that you have to create the life that you desire is your imagination. And if you don't see it, you will never be it. I know that many of us have not achieved the things we set out to do. And one of the main reasons is that we don't see it. We have not seen the vision of ourselves in such strength or degree that it creates that vibration within us to attract the results of that vision into our lives. You can't have deep desire about something that you're not clear of. You know, when you're in a relationship and you meet that special person and you want to be with them in every way, that burning desire, you want to call them, you want to see them, you want to touch them, you want to talk to them. Well, that's deep desire. If that desire is not there, you don't have that same focus, that same intensity to build that relationship. And the same thing with our dreams. If we don't have a deep, sensual relationship with our dreams, with our goals, chances are they won't happen. At least not as quickly as we would like them to. And so imagination is a powerful tool to help us create the vision of the life we want to lead in such strength or degree and with such intensity that that life must manifest. So those of you who are watching this broadcast, it's so important that you see, you visualize, you focus on what you want to be, what you want to see, the life you want to live. Kindness. Kindness is contagious. Woo! Now that's a powerful one. Kindness is contagious. So, and kindness, do me a favor, send me a direct message because we'd love to have you share on our broadcast. One of the things we're doing this year is we're going to be really bringing more people onto the broadcast. So definitely direct message me or email me at herbert@herbertharris.com. So today we want to focus on imagination, what you can do to expand your imagination, because the broader and the bigger your imagination, the more complete your reality will be. So imagination is a lot like a blueprint. A blueprint, every structure that you have seen, whether it's a house or a skyscraper, started with a blueprint. Hopefully a written blueprint. You know, when you're in the country and people build homes according to how they feel, you can tell it. Okay. Stuff doesn't fit as well as if you did it with a blueprint, where you had all the measurements and all the proportions correct. So your imagination, in particular, your creative imagination. You see, you have imagination, but you can begin to use your imagination affirmatively as creative imagination. And so we're looking today at pages 82 and 83, 82 through 84 of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. So those of you who have the book, definitely go and read these pages over, because it will give you a more complete picture of what we're sharing today. So how do you expand your imagination? And number one, to really read more, stimulate your mind by reading. You see, reading is the process by which great minds are developed. Someone once said, leaders are readers. A daily, operative word, a daily reading program can expand your thoughts, can enhance your powers of imagination. You see, the more that you can read about, the more you can see. What you say, babe? Thanks for joining us from Mississippi. Welcome, my friend. And so when we say stimulate your mind by reading, I recommend that you get a reading program and a daily reading program. You don't have to jump out and read a book every day or every week. But the key with reading, the way to unlock your powers and that power to expand your vision through reading, is to do it systematically, to do it every day. It is better to read 1 page a day than to read all day, 1 day a week. And so when you read that 1 page a day, that amount, to do it, the point being, do it on a daily basis, you create a rhythm. Just as you join me every morning at 8 o'clock to share a success thought. By being here, you have created a rhythm. And if you think about it, the rest of your life kind of stimulates from the rhythms you create. So stimulate your mind by reading, a daily reading program. Number 2, to recognize that imagination is a learned skill, that you can learn, practice, and master the skills of imagination, and thereby open up an entire world that you may not have if you did not acquire and use that skill. Every form, every shape, everything that exists started in somebody's imagination. This world, started in the imagination of God. You know, in the scripture, when it says, and God created man in his own image, the idea was there was an image. There was a blueprint. And so practice your imagination skills. To really learn how to develop your imagination skills, you have to learn to stop and be still and know. So I recommend that you set up, once again, a daily program where you sit quietly, where you close your eyes, where you control your breathing. You've seen when we do our Saturday morning classes, we do a meditation at the beginning of all of the success mentorship classes on Saturday mornings at 8. And the purpose of that is to change our body rhythms so that we become open and receptive. So each day, pick a time in the day when you can be quiet. You can't do it with noise around, with people around. You know, a lot of people say you can meditate to music. There's a point in which you may be able to do that. But in the beginning, close off all the sounds so that the only thing you hear is your breathing. And practice simply by closing your eyes and practice seeing things, familiar things. Maybe practice seeing your significant other, your husband, your wife. Practice seeing your children. Practice seeing your bedroom. In other words, when you begin to practice on familiar things, you will be amazed at how much detail you can see the things that you're already familiar with. It may also surprise you when you can't visualize your bedroom or you can't visualize your living room. This process is a two-way process because when you start to use the power of your imagination, you also increase your powers of observation. Hello. Let me say that again. You need to write this down. When you practice expanding your imagination, you increase your powers of observation. So when you practice your imagination, if you can't visualize your living room or your bedroom exactly the way they are, go into the room, take a look, close that, freeze that focus in your mind, like take a mental picture of it. And then in your practicing your imagination, visualize it so you can see it now. The dresser's over here. You have junk on the dresser. The light is there on top of the dresser. The bed is right next to the window. You can see the window. When you can practice to do that, you're really preparing yourself to create the life of your dreams. Number 3, to have the goals you want to achieve and the purpose you want to realize clearly in your mind. Kindness is contagious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When you have the goals that you have, the goals you want to achieve and the purpose, you know, the representation that you want your life to be, you create now that relationship and that vibration to bring it about. So look at the exercise. We said visualize the things that you already see and you understand. When you begin now to visualize that which is not reality yet. So when you see your goals, when you see your purpose, and you now practice the skill of visualization, the skill of imagination that we were talking about, you can now begin to create in mind with the same specificity that you can create in mind your bedroom. You can now create in mind your goals. And you see, when you can imagine, when you can visualize your goals with that same type of detail, maybe it's a house. When you can visualize how that new house is going to be, how it's going to look. When you can go through it in your mind and see each and every room and the fireplace and the furniture. When you can do that, it's coming. It cannot fail to come to pass, because when you can visualize something with that intensity, you create the vibration so that the world will bring it to you. We often say when you see things in your imagination that you want to create in your reality, don't worry about the how. You see, many times the how is based on where you've been, your level of experience, your past track record. But your visualization is about where you want to go, which is unlimited. Albert Einstein said your imagination is more powerful than anything because it is unlimited by anything, by reality. If you can see it, you can be it. Number 4, develop your powers of concentration. Just as imagination is a learned skill, procrastination, that's a learned skill too. That's one you don't want to learn, okay? But when you can enhance your power of concentration, you often talk when people go to study with their master, with the master teacher, with their gurus. And I have friends who've gone, I've done it myself, have gone on what we used to call the Sacred Visitation, where you leave all things behind you and say, come as they say, come as a child, to sit under the mastership and teachership of someone who knows. One of the first lessons is to teach the power of concentration. You see, when you can concentrate, when you can literally focus on anything. D.K. Franklin, thank you for joining us. When you can focus your attention on anything through concentration, you are learning how to set up that relationship between that you want and that you are, so that they become one. So the vision you desire to experience becomes the life that you actually experience. I worry about young people with this microwave generation. They are losing the power of concentration. You know how children, you sit them down for 10 minutes, I'm bored, I don't have anything to do. As a parent, we need to teach them how to use their power of concentration to focus. One of my teachers used to say, listen, focus on one hand. Just look at your hand. Look at the lines in your hand. Look at your fingers. And just focus on that for a minute, for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes. As you enhance your power of concentration on the things that are familiar, you can use that same power to focus on that which does not exist yet. I want you to think for a moment, you know, we talk about faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So what we're saying, you have to have faith in something that you want to happen and that there's no physical evidence that it will happen around you. And so the thing that keeps you moving is the vibration of hope. Your power of concentration gives you the ability to focus that vibration. You know, the difference between the light, the same light that lights out the garden outside my studio. If you take a magnifying glass, that same light can burn paper, burn wood, because it's focused through concentration. And then finally, number 5, to use your imagination. You must always control your moods and your emotions. You see, moods and emotions, the emotional aspect of our being, can take us off track or keep us on track. Moods and emotions can be the vehicles of, I call it the saboteur, that vibration that sabotages the good things you're trying to do. Have you noticed that when you start out on a journey to do powerful, good things, that there's certain people that you're like when you live in the country and you go approach your house, you don't see anything, just a house and the windows. But if there's a light on the porch, the moment you turn that light on, it attracts the bugs, the gnats, and all of those things. Similarly, your emotions, your moods, and your emotions are like that light, but they attract into your space distrust, doubt, discouragement. So you must take control of your moods and emotions so you can program yourself and tell yourself how to feel. So that you can program your attitude so that it's always positive. You know, I love the attitude shift that takes place when David and Goliath. Now, you could take the attitude of fear. David look at the big giant Goliath and say, oh my God, he's so big, he's so strong. He's going to kill me. Or he could take the attitude with his slingshot and his rock, and he could say, man, any target that big, I can't miss. Same situation, but a different attitude. Wow. So we've gone a few minutes longer than normal because I want you to get this today, because as you begin to close out this year, your ability to imagine the way you want next year to be is critical. And the more definitely, the more specifically, the more emotionally, the more tangibly you can imagine next year and the person you want to be next year and the things you want to do next year, the more likely they will come about. So let's review our points. How to expand your creative imagination. Number 1, stimulate your mind by reading. Number 2, practice your imagination skills. Number 3, have the goals you want to achieve and the purpose you want to realize clearly in your mind. Number 4, develop your powers of concentration. Your power of concentration is a great power by which you connect your vibration to that which you're seeking. And then finally, number 5, always control your moods and your emotions. When you can do this, when you can use your power of imagination to create the life of your dreams, it must come to pass. If you can see it, you can be it. If you can feel it, you can be it. Wow. You can be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do, and you can have whatever you want to have, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Thank you. Kenya. Kenya Crooks, my good friend, my favorite personal trainer. Thank you so much for being with us today. And this is a broadcast. I just let myself be a funnel, a channel to share with you this morning. This is one that you need to listen to. This is one to share. This is one that can change your life. And so until tomorrow, this is Dr. Herbert Harris, thanking you so much for being a part of this. I can be me because you're there. And so it is.